What's up, guys? Back with another video, and in this video, happy Valentine's Day and all stuff, but that's not what the video's about. The NBA is about to, hit about, the halfway point called, the All-Star break. And I want to give a quick recap saying that the NBA is a joke, right? And I say why, right? Obviously, we live in a weak era. A lot of teams don't play defense, and the score keeps getting higher and higher, and lots of crazy things been happening in the NBA, and there's been so many blowouts. There's one thing, like why, like teams just shoot just more, obviously because of more 3 point and all stuff, but the last few weeks of 2024 has been really crazy. And Luka, there's two players that score like 70 points in the NBA already. I mean, I know like Will Chamberlain score 100 point, Kobe Bryant score 81 point. But if you put Michael Jordan or Kobe or Will Chamberlain in this era, they're gonna wreck this NBA. The NBA is gonna go insane. Like Kobe may even score 100 point. I remember one time, Kobe scored 81 point, but the coaches, holding back. Like I feel like Kobe's been held back, for so many reasons, and yeah, the era was like much tougher. The score was much lower. Like it's super hard to get to 100 point, 20 years ago, or even as low as 10 years ago, And 10 years ago was like pretty long ago. Like I was like still, a sophomore, in high school because it's 2024. Like this this year is just so weird. A lot of weird things been going on. That's just my opinion. But the guy who scored the most as of right now is Luka Doncic. I won't be surprised if somebody scores 80 point. And he played against the Atlanta Hawks. So he scored like almost, half the team. You know? Like out of 140 point, Luka scored like 73. So yeah, man. Yeah, and Joel Embiid 70 point like on the same week. Devin Booker also scored 62 point, result in a loss to like I don't know the Indiana Pacers. Karl Anthony Towns 62 point. Giannis Antetokounmpo 64 point. I'm like, yeah, I feel like yeah, Victor Wembanyama is also the most blocked, but I won't be surprised if he becomes the highest scoring game, even though he's not in his 20s yet, but he's like new to the league. Like yeah, I talked about rebound, Domas Sabonis, Andre Drummond, Mark Williams, Andre Drummond, DeAndre Ayton, most steal like Shai gives Alexander. I just go over stats for the and who had the most turnover is like this Sabonis guy, Luka Doncic, Nikola Jokic, Brandon Ingram, and Tyrese Haliburton is like very good with the assists and stuff. So yeah, going back to like 2003, 2004, I mean, the number one offense in like 2003, 2004 is just as much as the Memphis Grizzlies that has the worst offense in the NBA, score 106.7 as of right now. And then the Indiana Pacers is scoring almost 125 points per game, but they score 123.7 and they give up 120. So I say that the last few years there's no team that average 120 points per game. But now, like we're not even into the All-Star break. We're just at the All-Star break, and at least five teams are scoring, 120 points per game. That tells you that, that teams don't play defense nowadays. Some games, like, it's ridiculous. Is where I think, like, last year when the Clippers got Russell Westbrook, like, the Kings and the Clippers score like 170 points per game. It's like, are we playing like an All-Star game or is it just a 2K? Like, the NBA is becoming like a 2K. Like, it's just not a. This is just a complete joke. Like, they're a team, that want to sit out because of injuries and all stuff. Like some people even call this a Kawhi Leonard era because they just fake their injuries and just get all that money paid stuff. Lots of refs and also foul calls, like ridiculous bogus calls stuff, especially with the Lakers. Yeah, the Lakers just having a lots of problems still. LeBron. I feel like everywhere LeBron goes to, there's a problem. Maybe LeBron is the problem. The Celtic, Oklahoma, Atlanta Hawks, Milwaukee Bucks, and Pacer. Those are the 5 teams that score at least 120 points per game. And the Warriors are like almost there. And so is the Sacramento Kings, but the Bucks have a really bad defense, and I don't think they're gonna win the championship. I thought the Boston Celtics and the Bucks are gonna make it to the Eastern Conference round, but look like they're not because I see a lot of flawless in those teams. So yeah, but the Pacers are definitely fraud. They look like a first round exit team, And then you got the Clippers, that's always pretenders, But now, like they struggle, they'll start struggling, very soon stuff. But yeah, so how many teams give up 120 points per game? Let's see. So the Utah Jazz are just right at the 120. San Antonio Spurs, Detroit Pistons, Indiana Pacer, Washington Wizard, and Atlanta Hawks. That's 16. And last year there was none, if I don't remember correctly. No, the Spurs did give 120, but the NBA is just a joke. Like scoring is like very easy, but when the NBA only wants to score, like they don't want to play defense and physicality. So this is why some individuals just go like berserk crazy, man. Like a new 70. If you can score 70 points in this era, that means in old era you may score like maybe like only like 50 or 60. That's just equates. Like records been broken here and there, but a lot of people are not surprised because just given how weak the NBA is, they just make some rule that just always implement scoring, and then they will add like a 4-point line. It's just crazy. And I've been hearing rumor that Steph Curry is recruiting LeBron James to the Golden State Warrior, and I thought it's fake news, but it's not fake news. So, god damn, what's wrong with this era these days? Luka Doncic scored 73 points in the single game regulation and no overtime. No overtime. I double check it. So, yeah, and Steph Curry even scored 60 points in the game too, and looked like he's gonna have to ask for more help, right? A lot of individual player like superstars get 60 like in the snap of the finger. That's how ridiculous, the bad defense is. Sometimes you're trying to like block the player and then they just score on you, right? Yeah, like there's just not lots of defense, implement in the NBA. This is why a lot of people don't watch NBA these days, because it's just, it's just bad, just score, play no defense whatsoever. And there was this in-season tournament where the Hawks and the Pacers, they just score like over 300 points. I'm like, this is an all-star game. This is supposed to be an all-star game, like the worst team in the NBA can score like 150 points. It's that a joke. That's how bad the NBA is. Even the 2016 and 2017, ridiculous, highly stacked Golden State Warrior could not even get to 150, and their highest score in the game regulation was like 149 points against the Lakers, and the Lakers defense was so bad, and Luke Walton's probably the worst coach of all time. He's the worst coach, and he plays absolutely no defense. That coach. I mean, if you put the Warriors in this era, I won't be surprised if they score like almost 200 points. I'm not even exaggerating. I'm not even kidding right now. Luka can score 73 points in 48 minutes. And so, this is absolutely, nuts. And the Portland Trail Blazers just lost to the Oklahoma City Thunder by 62 points, and that was the most embarrassing thing I ever saw in my life. You know, like yeah, the blowouts getting ridiculous. I told you that a 60-point lead, 60-point game would not be surprised in this modern era, because just given how soft this player is and they don't want to try. I mean, the lowest scoring points in the, I mean, a new 100-point game, it's like the new like 90 or 80 points, you know, back in the old days. But this team did not even. There's this one team in the NBA as so far this season has not scored 80 points in a game regulation, especially in this era. It's like super bad. That is really, really bad. And it is extremely embarrassing. There's no excuse. The Oklahoma City Thunder just like evacuated or just like decimated the entire Portland Trail Blazers by 62 points. And this team has not even slipped 80. They only scored 77 points in the game regulation. This team has almost got outscored by Luka Doncic. Luka Doncic scored 73 points just all by himself. He almost outscored the entire Portland Trail Blazers team. Like I said, you know, like two different team situations, but the gap between, you know, the best, the worst team in the single player and the best team in NBA should not been you know, this big. And the whole team score versus, you know, single player should not been this close. Imagine if Luka scored like another like 4 or 5 points, he would have scored as much as the entire team, you know, that play against the Oklahoma City Thunder. The Oklahoma City Thunder has a decent defense. Their defense like kind of like iffy, inconsistent, but their defense are pretty good, you know. But yeah, you know, aside, you know, maybe teams has injury problem and stuff. I don't follow a lot of team. But yeah, man. Like, I just could not believe. I will go crazy if a single player has scored 80 points in a game in this modern era, because that means they outscored the Portland Trail Blazers. That Portland 77-point game versus the Oklahoma City Thunder. If you don't tell me that loss was that bad, people will not be surprised, you know, like a 77-139 against the OKC Thunder. People don't know how bad that is, but there's this one player that can definitely outscore the 77 point for sure. The way the NBA is running, right? I have never seen a player that can outscore the entire, you know, team in the NBA. It's just pretty bad. It's just how lopsided we are, right? You know, lots of they say that the in-season tournament was fraud up, but I do partially agree, because the Lakers won the in-season tournament, and now, you know, in the regular season they are like struggling, you know. But yeah, you know, like Draymond Green, you know, problem, like lots of player problem, right? Yeah, like punching and kicking people, you know, get suspension. I thought he'll get suspended for the entire season, but looked like he's okay. I mean, the NBA needs to be a little bit more stricter, and I feel like the regular season needs to be cut down a bit. I mean, the rules are ridiculous. You have to play like 65 games to or be awarded. I feel really bad for, you know, Joel Embiid. You know, he's gonna be out for the entire season. You know, look like the Sixers looking forward to trade, and you know, I've been talking about the NBA is a joke, and also and more NBA news, and then, you know, the Milwaukee Bucks just fired their, you know, head coach. That was, you know, that was shocking. Just a players league, you know. Doesn't matter how good your team are. The Milwaukee Bucks that's an interesting team, you know. 17 games above 500, or having, you know, twice as many. Their wins is like more double than the losses, and they still fire the coach. Stuff, and then they hire, you know, Doc Rivers. I mean, the NBA is just, you know, like getting, you know, interesting again, because all this dramas and, you know, leaking rumors. So I'm gonna have to, you know, end off here and tell me what you thought about, the NBA stuff. But yeah, I'll make another video for today, and peace.